Good evening, Just Craig. You're a legend too. Looking forward to seeing you at the weekend. You're doing your no retreat legends list, right? The Sons of Horus. I hope you are. I think that's what you're doing. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you at the weekend. And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Talkie Tuesday live stream with me, your host, Winters SEO. Great to be here. It's warm in the UK. I know everyone who's not in the UK and watches this, particularly the VOD squad afterwards, is very curious why it's always 17 degrees and raining here. But that's Britain for you. Every now and then it gets warm, and when it gets warm, we need to celebrate it. So the window is open. There might be some background rolling. Hey, Wraith Raider. Hey, CL. Hey, Adam San. Hey. Yeah, Sons of Horus No Retreat List, headed up by Abaddon. Yes, I do remember playtesting that one with you. Nice narrative game. Very much looking forward to it. Hello, Swizzy. What's the weather like in Switzerland, by the way? And there's Blood Buffalo, all the way from Buffalo. Was that to please Mrs. Blood Buffalo? I've limited my YouTube subscriptions to 1. Please keep being good. I don't know if I was ever good. I'm bad. I'm bad. Like Michael Jackson, bad. Bad, which is good, but not good, which is good. Bad, which is good, but not bad. And we celebrate it by constant complaints. What are we talking about? Yes, we celebrate the weather by constant complaints, don't we? That's what we do here in the UK. So it's nice when it's warm every now and then, because we had a week, like for those who aren't around here, these parts, we had a week where it wasn't spring anymore, and then it went to crap again for another month, and then we've had another 3 days. So we've had almost 10 days of summer, but mainly it's been spring. Weasel, the weather is very British this summer. It rains constantly in Switzerland. That's a shame. We're used to that kind of thing though. The raining all the time. Lots of floods all over the place. That's the rain coming off the mountains, flooding all of the low. Hi, Wolfboot Chronicles. Hi. I had aircon fitted through You had aircon fitted through your house, Just Greg. Why? We live in the UK. I thought it was illegal in the UK. I didn't know aircon was actually a thing. Marius, yeah, that new Corti. I do want to talk about the Imperial Agents this evening. We will get to that at some point. Let's get through the introductions. Let's get everyone inside the room. Okay, everyone come in, grab a cup of tea or coffee or something. Wrap your hands around a Winter's mug. We're 61 people in the Winter's Mug Club. In the Mug Club, cheers to all my Mug Club members. Cheers to all my subscribers, all my members, everyone who keeps the lights on. We're still going. I don't know how. I've barely put up a battle report that actually does the Pariah Nexus thing and actually follows the James Workshop's prescribed way of playing. I've been doing all sorts of craziness like Horus Heresy or Hobby Apocalypse or other things, or the previous week with Sultan with the sisters and I haven't been following the script, but we're still here apparently. I'm sorry to hear you had heat stroke, Wraith Raider. It's probably better not to have children, and then you don't have to go to theme parks, They're not environmental, are they, children? They're unenvironmental. You're probably doubled the size of your carbon footprint there. How do you feel about collecting a Legion in Heresy and the chapter in 40k? Is it more the same and good, or do you like things separate? That's a good question, though. I think in 40k, I would do it separately. I would do it. You have an opportunity to try something differently. So in 40k, I would do my 40k thing, and in the Heresy, that's what I'm doing. I'm leaning into the Heresy thing and leaning into the 40k thing with extra squigs, with extra reinforcements for the 13th. In Germany, apparently it's hot as a hellhound. Hot as a hellhound flamethrower. In the Germany? Sorry to hear that. They're allowed air conditioning in Germany, though, so you should be fine. There's also different parts of Germany, isn't there? Because, southern Germany is really landlocked and it's in the middle of the continent. And then in the summer, it heats up there. It heats up like a hellhound flamethrower. But on the coast, nice and breezy. They get some rain. They get some lovely stuff. It's a big old country. So Weasels up. There's a general panic in Switzerland, by the way. This is This is an information announcement for anyone who's trying to make their way across continental Europe at this time. It is raining heavily in Switzerland right now. General panic, flooding is happening. They had a highway built in the mountains. It was washed away. They rebuilt it within a week. Love my country. Imagine a highway being... There's a thing in Swindon. They were doing some road works down in Swindon at the end of this thing, and it took them like 3 years. And it was literally changing 2 roundabouts. It was a main arterial road. And it was like 3 years of work. I think they found some squirrels hatching down there. Maybe there was some pipe work under the thing. I don't know what. 3 years. You rebuilt a highway within a week. That sounds very Japanese. I saw this thing on the thing as well, like burst water main in Japan, and it washed away this half of a road in the middle of Tokyo or someplace like that. And how they like cleaned it up and it was done. But yeah. Evening, Daniel. Evening, Dats and Des. It's hot in Malta. I would be surprised if it wasn't hot in Malta. I've never been. It's very rocky beaches, I understand. But yeah, I know someone who used to go there quite a lot. It was their favourite place to go. Cadia and Malta. So yeah. Wraith Raider, we can close the road for a week, put up cones and traffic lights, no workers to be seen. I know, right? When you're going along the motorway or an A road, the number of times you see like cones everywhere and no workers. What is that all about? Just cones and cones and cones and cones. How's the Polish summer winters? The Polish, well, it's nice here. In Poland, it's much nicer. Again, in the middle of a continent. You get, like my sister, for example. My sister is, she was over from Canada for a week or so, and we were out running around with her on Sunday. It wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. And so Canada, you think like frozen north, right? You think winter is coming. You think a 700-foot wall of ice to keep out the ragamuffins on the other side with all the gingers, basically. It's not, you can hate me, but that's how it goes in that TV. Everyone on that side, they're gingers, and they built a wall to keep them out. It's just, yeah. So anyway, you'd think it's frozen, but no, she's in Calgary, right in the middle, and it gets really hot there in the summertime. And she was like, look, show me the weather in Calgary. It's really nice. It's like 30 degrees and blah, blah, blah. And in the UK, I think on Sunday it was raining. Yeah. Scotland's murky. The Haggy are getting unruly. Dats and Des, 23 months. Thank you. You are a legend, sir. Thank you for your 23 months. Absolute legend. Love you. Since we are doing weather updates, it's glorious in Norfolk. Yeah, it's glorious in Swindon as well. We're doing Weather Watch around the world. Switzerland, floods. Germany, hot as a hellhound. Someone else said it was shitty. Can't remember that. But anyway, generally speaking, it's okay on planet Terra right now. You finished Flight of the Eisenstein today, Daniel. It's one of the good ones. Garvey or Loken battling on the surface of the moon. Brilliant. Wraith Raider, thank you for your 16 months, sir. Legend, thank you. And Marky, thank you for your 16 months as well. Both you and Just Craig, 16 months. Look at this in a row. It's gone Wraith Raider, Marky, Just Craig, 16 months. Let's read the things. Oh, I have one of these chats. Do I dare aim to get us on target? I'm loving the idea of Deathwatch. Kill teams joining my Imperial armies. I know, right? We'll talk about Imperial Agents in a bit. Muggy in London, says Marky. Just Craig says, never done one of these before. Well, you have now. Washington State is dry and hot. It's hot. Damn hot. I understand it's the coldest summer in 20 plus years in England. Well, there you go. I don't know what you're darning about, but welcome to the chat. Yeah. Hot here too. No idea where you are though, Greg. No idea. I mean, hot here too. Are you in someone's sock drawer? It's hot in sock drawers right now. Florida is miserable. The heat index is over 100 every day. No idea what that means. Crazy humidity. Yeah, Florida. Isn't that full? Does that mean you're like 90? Isn't that full of people from Cuba and then retired Americans? I think that's what Florida's full of, and alligators, and occasional hurricanes, and it's sinking, isn't it, or something? It's like it's sinking, or the sea is coming up, or the land is going down, or a combination of both. Yeah. Kamloops, BC. Oh, you're in. Greg is in Kamloops, BC, British Columbia in Canada. Yeah. My sister's in Calgary. Well, she's in the UK at the moment. I think she's flying back today. And I don't think Calgary is in British Columbia. I think it's in Ontario. I went there once. Went over there, said hi. We did some skiing, fired a few guns, that sort of thing. Not skiing and firing guns at the same time. I mean, we love war, we love exterminatus, we love grenades, we love explosions, we love war gaming. So the opportunity for this humble Englishman to get his hands on some real guns and shoot some real bullets was fantastic. And my Call of Duty training was coming in hot, you know, nailing that target. I actually managed to pick up, you walk into the sporting goods store, and on the counter in front of me was a Beretta Light 50. I'm like, can I pick it up? He went, yeah. I picked it up. I was like, oh, headshot time, baby. Can I fire it? He went, no. It would go through the back of the range and kill someone in the other building. I was like, damn, but I'd love to have fired that. Imagine the kaboom, boom. Kaboom, boom. Alberta, apparently, Calgary. Did you read about the Brazilian coked up sharks? I did. Sharks off the coast of Brazil are on cocaine. I think the Emperor is doing work there. He's starting his genetic modification on sharks. Soon we'll have the space sharks running around all over the place. Evening, Sid. Thank you. Isn't skiing and shooting a sport in the Winter? Skiing and shooting is a sport in the Winter Olympics. Yes, as well as going down the slope on a tea tray. They go down, you know that one? They're on a tray and they go down. That always looks so cool. You know, zipping down a thing on a tray. I mean, everyone did that when they were kids, right? Like, you'd get your tray. There'd be a bit of snow on the slopes. Jump on the tray, go down the slopes, bury your head into a tree at the bottom. That sort of thing. Lovely. It's just, sounds like the next sequel of Sharknado. Dude, have you seen Sharknado? Sharknado 3 is awesome. Sharknado 3 is my favorite one. That's the when the Sharknado and the sharks get to space, and then there's a bit at the end where the sharks are like, because they're on the ISS, they're on the International Space Station, and obviously it gets attacked by sharks in space, and they have to leap out the space station, plummeting towards Earth, and the heroine gets eaten by a shark, and she's pregnant. It's like, oh no, she's gonna die. And then as she's plummeting through the atmosphere inside the belly of a shark, she gives birth. And then the shark hits the ground and her husband is there, because obviously when you fall from space, you're going to land in a geographical location just shy away from your husband. And he walks towards her and she rips herself out of the belly of the shark, holding the baby covered in blood. Go, I made it, or something like that. It's so cool. Sharknado, 10 out of 10. Yeah. Speaking of sharks and Winter Olympics, in a triathlon against a shark, it's beat me swimming, I'd beat it running. Guess it comes to the best cyclist. Who would win? Cycling, a shark or you? These are important questions that we have to unpack at some point. Hello, Christian. Wow, that plot makes absolute sense. Yeah, I didn't make it up, man. I didn't make it up. CL, I didn't make it up. That is... It's definitely not Sharknado 2. I think it's Sharknado 3 or 4. That is like the end. I'm sorry, I spoiled the end. She doesn't die. She gives birth to a baby in the belly of a shark while plummeting through the atmosphere. Sorry, spoilers. I should have said spoilers because I know you're all going to go away and watch Sharknado now. Sharknado 1 is cool. You should definitely watch it. It's a great fun. You know, like those trashy movies that know they're trashy? It's one of them. It's a trashy movie that knows it's trashy, but a lot of trashy movies that know they're trashy, like, I don't know, Schindler's List or Saving Private Ryan, a lot of them, they take themselves too seriously. But what you want is a trashy movie that takes itself less seriously and just nails it, you know, like E.T. and Sharknado. I love that we live in a world where Sharknado not only got a sequel, but multiple sequels. We do, sir. We do. Does Sharknado 3 also have the Sydney Opera House turn into a battle station? It might. I'm blurring. All the Sharknados are blurring into my brain at the moment, but I do remember the plunging. It's been a while since I watched Sharknado. It's not up there with one of my favourite films, because obviously everyone's in the top 5 of favourite films, guys. Top 5 of favourite films. If we had to list our favourite films now, go. But I'll start you off, and I'm not saying them in any particular order, like what would be in my top 5. Lord of the Rings trilogy, that's one movie as far as I'm concerned. Extended edition. Fight Club's good. It wouldn't be in my top 5, but it is good. But Lord of the Rings extended trilogy, that's one. Lion King 2. Aliens, the second one, extended edition 3. That would definitely be in there. And then you've got The Matrix. Then you've got Shawshank Redemption. Then you've got Leon. Then you've got... There's quite a few, that you could put in there. Dark Knight, Batman, dude. Back to the Future, The Mummy Returns, Predator, best film ever. Predators, see, the thing about Predator is I really like it, but it's not for me, it's one of the greatest action movies of all time. It's actually got plot, it's actually got character, how it goes from a thing to another thing to a stuff. But, I prefer the cheesy Arnold Schwarzenegger ones a bit more, like Commando. Commando is absolute cheese. Stick around. All that. I prefer that. Starship Troopers, dude. Gremlins, Mars Attacks, Interstellar, Frank, as your top 5. That's a bold choice, Interstellar as a top 5. It's a great movie, no doubt. But it's a bit... of my Christopher Nolan movies, I wouldn't put Interstellar there. It would be The Dark Knight, or it would be Memento, or I really actually like Inception. It's one of those movies, and I like Tenet as well. Like Inception and Tenet are those movies that are better the second time round. Anyway, someone put Blade Runner in the chat. Okay, guys, you might unsubscribe after this one, but I prefer Blade Runner 2049 to Blade Runner. I'm not saying Blade Runner is a bad movie, but 2049 is better. Event Horizon, dude. Gladiator, dude. Gangs of New York, Man of Steel. I did watch Gangs of New York again recently. Man of Steel's good. Event Horizon ruined my childhood. Black Hawk Down, dude. The Ultramarines movie, nah. Event Horizon, I got a story about that. Event Horizon came out at the cinema at the same time as a Star Trek movie, and I think it was Star Trek Nemesis or something like that. And I went to watch the new Star Trek movie with my younger sister, and she must have been like 13 or 14 at the time, and I was 19, 20, I don't know how many years. That sounds about right to me. I'm in my early 20s. She's in her early teens. There's 8 years between us. So if I'm 20, she's about 12. She was young, okay? And we bought the Star Trek tickets, and we got the popcorn, walked around the corner, and we went into the wrong cinema, and we watched Event Horizon. And she was like 12. Anyway, it was about 5 minutes in, because you watch it's the thing and the stuff, and I don't know why, when Event Horizon came up, I don't know why I didn't twig at that point, and it's sci-fi in, and it's like, we're about 5 minutes in, and we're like looking at each other saying, where's Spock? What's going on here? And it was fantastic. I loved it. She shit the bed. Brilliant movie. Debbie Dodd's Dallas, Friday Night Lights. Yeah. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Great movie. Big Trouble in Little Time. Aliens, best movie ever made. Yeah, I said Aliens is in my top 5. Aliens, like, when you're talking about what movies are in your top 5, it's hard. If you have a good top 5, it's hard for someone to argue that movie isn't one of the best movies ever made. Such as, Alien, the first Alien. Yes, Lord of the Rings trilogy, that counts as one movie. We established that. But Alien is good. Aliens is good. Have you guys seen the trailer to Alien Romulus? Not the original Dune. No, I have seen Dune 1 and 2 twice. And I think I've seen Dune 1 a couple of times. But Joker was good. Alien Romulus. See, I'm worried about new modern Hollywood movies these days because they're so rare to have a really good one like Oppenheimer or Top Gun Maverick or, things like that. There's a lot of... Do you remember the days when you could go to the cinema on a Friday or Saturday, pick any Friday or Saturday, and you would go 2 or 3 times a month. You would just go. You with your mates, or you with a girlfriend, or you're a member of the family. You would just go, and you'd go down to the cinema, and there'd be multiple films up there that you could watch. There would be we didn't know how we had it so good in the 90s and the noughties. There was always good movies out, but now I don't even know what's on the cinema right now. I used to love going to the movies, like yeah, regularly, all the time. But these days, it's hard to actually. I think I don't know. The Shining is really good, not top, but classic. Road One, good. Top 5 is hard. Shawshank, Aliens, Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future, Star Wars. I'm looking forward to the Deadpool and Wolverine movie as well, or the Wolverine and Deadpool movie. That one looks good. The trailers for that look good, and Ryan and Hugh look like they're having a great time going around the world promoting the crap out of it. Gremlins, Ghostbusters, 2 absolute classics. Alien Romulus makes me hope for greatness, but fear that it'll be another Prometheus or Covenant. I know. See, I just want a bit of character-driven story. There's so few character-driven stories where characters make decisions and push and pull a story in a certain direction. It ends up being, just lots of contrivances. It's Aliens and King Kong. Cinematography for 1917, good. And The Revenant, good. I don't think movies got worse. They just got less original. Life of Pi is good. Hello, Adrian. The Revenant. Yeah, The Revenant's a bit long. The first Invisible Man movie. Didn't see it. It's not the one with Kevin Bacon in it. Any movie with Kevin Bacon in is good. Like, I mean, anything with Kevin Bacon in it. Have you guys seen Jessica Jones? And David Tennant is in that. Why did I suddenly go from Kevin Bacon to David Tennant? But he's a bad guy, and he just is so good as a bad guy. Why was that? Oh, yeah, because Kevin Bacon is in the new Axel Foley movie, and he plays a bad guy, spoiler. And he's good, chewing up the scenes. The Thing is good. Gangs in New York is the character-driven story, yeah. Ray Trader, modern Hollywood worries too much about cash as films cost so much these days. Yes. I'd like to see Tremors. Steve, thanks for the politics. Tremors is a great movie. Hammer Horror, Christopher Lee is a badass. Yes, Christopher Lee, man. Back in the day. He was a proper SAS, right? Or SBS. Like with the backstab thing in the Twin Towers. It's famous how he said, no, I got this, kid. You know what I'm mad about? Never seen a 40k movie beside that one Space Marine one where they go save the rest of the chapter and chaoses. Yeah, I think it's the Ultramarines movie, and they spend it most of the time just walking. Is Alien Romulus like aliens on Spock's planet? No. So Alien Romulus is... Apparently Alien Romulus is set between the time of the original movie, Alien, and the second movie, Aliens. Because there's like a 70-year gap, isn't there? There's a big gap. And so it turns out that there's a space station somewhere with aliens on it. And I think that's it. I think our heroes end up on the space station some way, somehow. And surprise, surprise, some of the aliens get out and start running around. I really hope there's some strong characters. I really hope just some good aliens. How can they screw up aliens so badly, you know? How? Dread, by the way, with Carl Urban, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. That and Blade, the OG Blade. Fantastic. The Goonies. Hey, you guys. You couldn't make that one these days. The Raid and Raid 2, fantastic. Sicario. Godzilla Minus 1 was a cheap budget. But Godzilla Minus 1 was good. I think it was a bit overhyped by the time. I think everyone's saying, oh, you got to watch it. It's very Korean or Japanese. It's very... You know, they're very expressive, over the top. Oh, yeah. You know, they're very... It's turned up to 11. And I think in Western culture, we like a bit more subtlety every now and then, and it's a bit more nuance from characters. Not everyone. It's very Eastern, and there's definitely a cultural. It's good though. It's good. I recommend anyone go to. You should check out Godzilla -1. Best Godzilla movie since the one with David Matthew Broderick in from Ferris Bueller. He was in the one where they get caught in Godzilla's mouth and he gets the electrical cable and puts it in the tooth. So Godzilla, he's in the car. I mean, 90s movies. In the car gets eaten by Godzilla. People in the car in Godzilla's mouth, grabs the electrical cable, shoves it in the guns. Godzilla goes, brilliant. What more do you want? It's a good movie, maybe not a must watch. Yeah, Highlander. I watched the crap out of that back in the day. Apparently Henry Cavill is doing like a Highlander remake. Starts shooting in January, February next year. But Highlander, man, so quotable. Lots of different places. Pirates of the Caribbean is a great series. Cortez, yeah. We're going to talk about Cortez. We'll talk about Imperial Agents in a bit. Lock, Stock and Two, Smoking Barrels and Snatch. Fifth Element. These are all good films. Fifth Element is good. Lock, Stock is good. Snatch is good. Pacific Rim, the OG one, was good. Full steam ahead for the Blood Angels releases. Corax, do you know something I don't know? Have they started leaking Blood Angels releases now? Godzilla goes... Yeah, Villeneuve. After June, right? It's, after June, watching all the Villeneuve movies again is probably a good shout. I don't know about all of them, but 2049, really good. Watchmen, OG Total Recall. The OG Total Recall is, again, a classic. The new Total Recall is not that bad either. It's not that bad. You'd think they don't, it's not that bad. Have you ever played the board game Dunes? No, I haven't. 5 has suddenly gone to 501. So best movies for me, Aliens, the OG Matrix. The OG Matrix is the only movie I've left the cinema, bought a ticket and gone straight back into the cinema again. Because you got to remember that when they released it, we had no idea. No one knew. It was like, what is the Matrix? We didn't, red pill, blue pill, we didn't know. I left it, turned around, went straight back in again. So that'll have to be up there. Lord of the Rings, Lion King, greatest animated movie of all time. Still makes me... It's tough. And then I don't know what would go in the 5th place after, because those are 4, right? I think they're 4. It'd probably have to be Shawshank, or Highlander, or RoboCop, or Terminator 2, or Commando. Stick around. We talked about it. It's going to have to be one of them. So many quotes, so much happening in those movies. And like I said, back in the day, you could just go in in the weekends, watch the cinema, watch the film. You can't do that these days. It's dried up. It's all very corporatized. That's all like they're trying to tick some algorithms, like some YouTuber trying to chase the algorithm, the clickbait titles and the things, and they're trying to do the things. I decided a long time ago that I wasn't gonna chase the next hottest thing and the next hottest thing and the next hottest thing and the next hottest thing in 40k, because 1, it gets exhausting. The release cycle is OMG, and 2, it's this is my hobby. It's my hobby. I just happen to put it on camera and reveal it to you guys. So I go where the hobby muse takes me, and sometimes I'm interested in that stuff, sometimes I'm interested in that stuff. I don't want to make a video on how to beat the top 5 Space Marine lists out there. There's plenty of videos out there which is how to beat the top 5 Space Marine lists, or to win with orcs you need this one thing. Don't want to, they would get a lot of clicks and a lot of likes and things, but it's kind of One, why would you listen to me talking about it? What do I know? And 2, there's loads of videos out there. And 3, I don't really want to make content like that. I'd rather make content. I film what I do, shove it out there. Thank you, you guys. Thoughts on Master and Commander? £2 donation. Thank you for your donation. Master and Commander, very good. Criminal that wasn't a sequel to that. Absolutely criminal there wasn't a sequel. Like it. Very accurate to... I love the book accuracy in it, and I love the lore accuracy in it. Master and Commander is a solid book. It's one of those that's actually quite watchable again. So if you guys haven't seen Master and Commander in a while, recommend 10 out of 10. Go out, check it again. I feel like streaming destroyed good movies. Yeah, Frank, yeah. It's streaming and YouTube's, and they're competing with... Hollywood was competing with just TV. And what was on TV? Supermarket Street Sweep and Bullseye and Coronation Street and crap like that. And now, what's on TV is tactical geniuses like myself, the winner of the No Retreat Legends tournament. You can listen to me instead of watch Robot Wars. God, I miss Robot Wars. Robot Wars was so good. Adrian Midgen, thank you so much for your donation. Love your bat red's got to head out, but thanks for all you do, Winters. Adrian, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you. Marius, sharp or hornblower? Sharp all day, Marius. Thank you for your donation. Absolute G. Love you. Frank Varsity has gifted 10 Winters memberships. GG in the chat for Franks. Can we have a big GG for that legend Frank in the chaps? GG him up. GG him up. Thank you, Frank. Hats off to you, figuratively speaking. Cheers from the Mug Club. GD's all round. GD's all round. Top 3 Robot Wars robots. Hypnodisc in its prime was just absolutely devastating. Razor 2, just absolutely devastating. Hypnodisc, Razor. I don't know who I would put third. I mean, those two dominated for such a long period of time. Well, through various wars, that they stood out to me. I mean, Sergeant Shunt would be my third, I think. Hypnodisc and Razor, that's what I said. Chaos 2, there we go. Hypnodisc, Razor, Chaos 2, that's what I meant, not Razor 2. Hypnodisc, Razor, Chaos 2. Top 3 robots. Again, go on YouTube, put in Robot Wars, Hypnodisc, Razor, Chaos 2. Not now, after the stream is over. Blood Buffalo. Iron Claw, watch the trailer after the stream. Thank you for your donation, Blood Buffalo. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I've seen the trailer. Looking forward to that one as well. I think it's already out to rent or buy, I think. Or is it coming to the cinema? I saw it somewhere. I'm looking forward to that one. Looks good. That one looks good. Thank you, everyone, for the GGs. For the GGs for Frank. Legends. Hypnodisc was brutal. Hypnodisc was brutal. I mean, Robot Wars, classic. Absolute classic TV. And then they did Junkyard Wars. Or Scrap Heap Challenge, as it was called here in the UK. The Scrap Heap Challenge. In America, Junkyard Wars. Because you have junkyards and we have scrap. 2 completely different things. You bought it already? Okay, it's spectacular. I heard good things. So I need to get Iron Claw. Yes. Is it to buy or to rent? Because the only movies that I've bought, I have bought very few movies. Like I've got the original, I've got Lord of the Rings Trilogy Extended Edition, the OG discs, and I've got Lord of the Rings Extended Edition, blah, 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 on Amazon. I've got it on there. And then there's about half a dozen other films that I've actually bought on the Amazon Prime account so I can watch anytime. The ones that I'd watch again and again and again, like June is on there recently. That's the last one I bought. I can't remember. And I don't think I can see it on the phone. So you can. I'm writing that down because I want to watch the Iron Claw. Iron Claw. You're scared of the claw. The claw. Because you have the claw in Two Story. And then you have the claw in that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with Turbo Man. And that is a great Christmas movie, by the way. God damn it, what's it called? Jingle All the Way? Something like that. It's a great movie when they're trying to get the Turbo Man doll. Fantastic. It's one of the best Christmas movies of all time, after Die Hard, obviously. Constantine 2, I know. Why haven't they done Constantine? Constantine 1, it's such a divergence from the books that it was a bit shocking at the time. But again, it's one of those movies that I've rewatched and rewatched and rewatched because their hellscape that they did. So cool. And Constantine, it's an arsehole. Everyone he bumps into, everyone he meets dies, right? That's why he doesn't like getting attached. Everyone dies. Except for, does she die at the end? I'm not sure. But he's brutal. Have you watched Angels of Death? Yes. Yes. Once, all the way through. That was it. The Claw is our master. Jingle All the Way. Yes, it was Jingle All the Way. It's a great Christmas movie. It's one of my favourite movies. Up there with like Home Alone, the OG Home Alone. It's a great Christmas movie. Peter Stormare as Lucifer. Yeah, the Lucifer scene at the end when he comes down. The acting in it's good because Keanu Reeves nails it. It's got a young dude in it. The dude, you know, who's the dude? With the do it, just do it. It's got him when he was younger. It's got her in it as well. Shia LaBeouf, exactly. Frank, thank you for your 3 months membership. Legend, thank you for 3 months. What about Constantine the movie? It's a great movie. Constantine the movie with Keanu Reeves, check it out. If you're a fan of the comic books, don't check it out. Neil Gaiman disowned it. But it is as a standalone one-off superhero-ish movie, it's really good. Not the TV series. The TV series, nah, stay away. Not so good. Jingle All the Way somehow made the overworked single dad mailman the villain. Well, see, back in the day, it was like going postal, right? It was a meme. I think that's why they did it. It's a product of its time. I don't think they did it because of any. Yes, I mean it made one dad the villain, but another dad the hero. So one was the villain, one was the hero, and they both went too far in their need to help their child. But at the end, they all discovered love. Ah, dear. You're a mailman, you disagree. 90s consumering. Lol, get the toy, prove love through toy. Yes. Yeah. I'm terribly sorry. Funny though. It's a funny movie, okay? I like it. I like the funniness of it. I like the thingy bob of it. I didn't see it until I didn't watch it as a kid. I didn't see it in my 20s, and I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny, okay? Have I got any AOS battle raps planned for the future? Good question. No, I haven't got any AOS armies. Terribly sorry. Ninja Turtles, brilliant. I only remember Arnie, like brilliant. Yeah. What are we talking about? So that's good. We've done movies. We've done the weather. Okay, guys, we've done movies. We've done weather. Thank you for some of the chats and things. That was glorious. Anyone watch the battle report of the weekend? The 4-way one? Get onto Den of Imagination and get them to sort you out of AOS. I'd love to, but they've always got a backlog. Like, they recently did the Squigs for me, which I put a shorts up on. And then before then, it was a Sons of Horus update. Then before then, it was the and right now, they've got some more Death Guard for Horus Heresy. And then after that, I want them to do some more Orcs. Because I want to round out my Orc collection a bit more. Get some of the newer stuff. I've got some ideas. What do I think is the release sequence for codexes? So Den of Imagination, can't get them onto AOS. They're always doing something for me. I don't know what the release sequence is for codexes. I have no clue. They've got to squeeze out like 20 plus of them in 2.5 years before the next edition rolls round. Which is why we had a release with like Sisters and Gene Stealers at the same time. So I don't know what the release sequence is. I think next one is Imperial Agents, right? They're leaking that online. Yeah, I'm glad you like the back. You watched the back rep. Frank watched the back rep. Corax, you watched the back rep. Weasel, love the back rep. Sunton just tends to bring a gun to a knife fight. He does. That's Sultan for you. Sultan is like gun to a knife fight. Monkey is just tear everything in the way. Brad Pierce just tries to take it seriously, but his brain gets in his way. He has trouble tying his own shoelaces or forming full sentences. But apparently, if you bring the cheese, you're going to get the toast. What does that even mean? I don't know what that means. Play your way, yeah. Did you notice it was just a race to the finish line, essentially? It was the 4 armies racing to get out of the Dark Tower, and the one left behind is lost to the warp. And then 3 armies got out and then raced to the finish line. It was essentially a Warhammer 40k battle report race to the finish line. That's what it was. If you do a 4-way one with your mates, you want to make sure, because it can take a very long time, you want to make sure that you have some mechanic in a game which either kills more units like orbital strikes coming in, or sucks you off the battlefield. Have a nice hoovering type act. You need something like that to thin it a bit. Otherwise, you'll be there until 10 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? 30k World Eaters are very cool. They are very cool. I miss Stylus 2, by the way. I miss Stylus 2, but in all the other hobby apocalypse that he did, he lost. He lost, and then he lost, and then the previous week he lost, and then the previous year he lost. And I think he just can't take losing. I think that's what it is. He's a great guy. He's a nice guy. Loves Stylus very much, but and everyone was picking on him, you know. It was a rough time in the room. And the other thing about Stylus is he's clearly more intelligent than all 3 of the other brains put together in the room. And it was hard for him to bend down to our level. Had a bad back by the end of it, you know. Wherever you get your ideas from, send it over. I can't because it's locked in my genius brain. You like a good 4-way suck-off. So do I. Who wouldn't like a good 4-way suck-off? The battle grid. This channel is going to get demonetized, isn't it? It probably won't. Hopefully it won't. We'll see. I've had a live stream get demonetized before. I went back through it to say, like, what did I say? What was going on? I said plenty. The great Omnissiah machine bots of YouTube are always listening. The machine mind is peering. They're peering in. They're like, no. Children might listen to that. No. We'll take your monies away. And then they take your monies away to try and teach you. It's like going sticking on the naughty step to try and teach you not to say things like suck off the battle grid. Maybe the ideas come from some space-time warp. No, they don't come from Gork or Mort. Tactical genius. That's where they come from. No, it's not 18 rated. It's suck off the battle grid. Sucked off the battle grid. When you get sucked off the battle grid by some demonic warp presence. It's not 18 rated. It's not 18. Your next door's husky is howling. Well, you've got a husky next door. That's what they do, right? They're chatty dogs. One of my mates had a husky. Very chatty dog. All the time. The woke bots. It's not the woke bots. It's the protect children bots in this case. It's because they don't want you to say things like, do you see me grab that? It was gonna... I grabbed it and I swallowed that sentence down. Oh, that was so cool. Oh, dear. If you guys... Well, there's plenty of people in the chat who've been to events, and I've been at events, and you know what I'm like. Oh, it's so blue. It's, yes. And I find myself apologizing to the children in the room as I go around the event. Google bots are brutal. Is YouTube and Google... Are they... Google and YouTube, they are, aren't they? Google and YouTube are a thing. They're like together. Like WhatsApp and Facebook are a thing. They're together. They got married. You know what I mean? I think it's a thing. Cotes is the worst model I've seen in 10th edition, says Crazy Kill Switch. Blood Buffalo disagrees. He likes the Cotes. Cotias. I don't think it's Cotes or Cortes. I think it's Cotias. His old model was pretty chonky, was pretty good. I think Grey Knight SEO still got the old one and used to run him back in the day when you could have 1 minute. Pussy. Negative pussy. Negative on the pussy. He just and then gone. Doesn't normally. God, it's hot in here. It's hot. Yeah. Hot. Yes. So let's talk about Imperial Agents, shall we? Death Watch aren't getting their Codex. Instead, they're getting rolled into the Inquisition Codex, Imperial Agents, with the Inquisitors. And there's assassins in there too. And the Death Watch are part of the Inquisition. I don't understand why Death Watch players are upset. Some of them online certainly are. The Death Watch players that I know personally, that I have spoken to, are delighted about the Inquisitorial Agents Codex. They can't wait to sink their little teeth into it. Sultan is practically frothing. Grey Knight SEO, I mentioned, Mike, he's practically frothing as well. You can run your Death Watch as you run your Death Watch before. You just need 2 codexes. You would need this one and the Space Marine Codex. But you can add Inquisitors to it, and you can add things to it, and then, yeah. Or you can get the Imperial Agents Codex and then just add them chunk into your Space Marines, or so to speak. It should be able to go kakunk and add them to your Adeptus Mechanicus, which might actually make Adeptus Mechanicus quite playable, because you can bring little baby detachments of stuff, chunk them in somewhere, and it looks like we're getting new Inquisitor models, new Servitor models. There was a bunch of new models that they've shown on those box sets. New models. So Imperial Agents is Assassins, Inquisitors, Grey Knights. It's got rules for that. Death Watch in there. It's got rules for our BTs and Navy as well. So if there's a whole Imperial Navy detachment that you can run as a standalone detached, that one should be really interesting with some BTs or Navymen and maybe some Thunderbolt and Lightning. Very, very frightening indeed. Galileo should have some of them in it. Maybe the return of the Vendetta gunship, something like that in it. Look, uber cool. You got them. And then the ones they showed are, here's a Death Watch detachment with an Inquisitor, which you can just bolt onto your Space Marines. Or here's a Grey Knight detachment with an Inquisitor that you can just bolt onto your Space Marines or AdMech or thing. It looks flexible. It looks creative. It looks narrative. It looks like I've been arguing for like a Codex Mercenaries for a long time, like these extra codexes where you can do stuff like this and tag bits onto your main force for some time. Very exciting. Like I say, Sultan is frothing. I don't know when it's coming out. Normally they send me a paper copy. If it's next week or this week, maybe I'm not getting a copy for the first time in like ever, which is a shame. Probably because I didn't shout out the last couple of codexes that they sent me. Like, I've still got the Gene Stealer Codex here. I haven't even opened it yet because I was on holiday when the last 2 codexes came out. The Sisters and the Gene Stealer ones. Maybe they'll stop sending me some stuff. Where are we? Do you know if Demon Hosts are back? I don't know if Demon Hosts are back. I hope they are back. I mean, imagine in Imperial Agents book, they've got an Eisenhorn model. Say there's Eisenhorn in there. And then you've got Cotes with his stubby little legs. He's in the wrong trousers, Grommet. You know, if he's in them, you got him walking around. But it should have Eisenhorn. It should have Cherubel. It should have Demon Hosts. It should, like they used to back in 7th edition. 6th edition was the last time we had a proper Inquisitorial Demon Hunters. You had the Witch Hunters Demon Hunters Codex in 4th, 5th edition and 6th edition. Then it was 7th edition when the Grey Knights came out. End of 6th edition, Grey Knights got their standalone codex and they took them out of the Demon Hunters book. But in the OG Grey Knights Codex, because Grey Knights never had their own codex for so long, they were just in the Demon Hunters. And then finally they got their own codex. The Baby Carrier came out. They had their own units. They had their own stuff and things. But even in that book, the OG Grey Knight book, at the back, they still had Inquisitors. And they had Cotias. They had Jokero weaponsmiths in it. they had Crusaders, and they still had some of the inquisitorial things in the OG Grey Knights Codex. And then at the end of 7th edition, they released a new Grey Knights Codex, because the first one came out like halfway through 6th. And then that was just Grey Knights. And then 8th edition came out and it was just Grey Knights. And then we got Death Watch for the first time, like just Death Watch. They got their own new codex. It's like, they never had their own standalone codexes before. And then and now we're going back to Witch Hunter-esque, Demon Hunter-esque time, where they can put all the extra stuff that doesn't fit in a Space Marine Codex or a Imperial Guard Codex or a Mechanicus Codex. They can put in there, and then they can take stuff out of the Imperial Guard Codex and some other, because there's a priest in there in the Imperial Guards Codex they mentioned, and there's a couple of units in there that you might see in the Guard, but all these units, they're squidged together in one book with some detachments and with a rule saying you can use these as standalone stuff, or you can put a detachment in instead. It's just very exciting. In competitive 10th edition, it's very interesting that they're choosing this. It gives me hope that there's a narrative heartbeat still somewhere beating in the breast of James' workshop. Someone's gone up to it and given it a narrative. There's a narrative code. The guys will like this one. They will love this one. They can add it to all the things and things. Let's give it to them. Let's give it to them hard and good. Yes. And now we're getting it. We're getting the thing. We're getting a bit of narrative how competitive it will be. Someone out there will break the crap out of it, won't there? There'll probably be some really dirty combinations when you add this inquisitorial raw band with this thing and and then you stick it in with the Space Marines, and then the Space Marines, it's all Brutalis Dreadnoughts and Redemptor Dreadnoughts and go. And it will probably be there'll probably be a killer list. And then you'll see some of the inquisitorial things and some of the bits in the Imperial Agents book get nerfed into oblivion, but only some bits. There'll still be some teeth in there that you can pull and sell to some orcs. Ah, dear. The Prussian Badger. Thank you for your donation. You Prussian user. Thank you. You legend. Absolute legend. Cheers from the Mugs Club. Mug Club. Generous. Inquisitor Amberley Vale could even bring, yes, Caiaphas Cain and Jurgen. Why not have Caiaphas Cain and Jurgen? Dude, yes. You could have Amberley Vale, you can have Ravenor, a Kinder Egg, that would do it. Eisenhorn, dude, imagine if Eisenhorn came out with Harlan Nail and Keys and all that as well. Caiaphas Cain with Jurgen as one unit type, Jurgen lugging around his melter with some special rule, like if you get too close you lose -1 to your leadership or something because he stinks that bad. That would be genius. That you could bring to life in the Imperial Agents book some more of our beloved characters, a beloved narrative, and just stuck it in. See, now they've actually got a codex, and now they've figured out how to make it work. Like, okay, we actually need a book which has got the extra bits in, and we need some rules in the extra book so people will actually buy the extra book and add bits to their now they've got that idea down. Hopefully they'll sprinkle some water over these seeds, and over time Imperial Agents Codex 2.0 and 3.0 in 10 years time or whenever, there'll be there's already going to be some pips to squeeze from that juice, but in the future there'll be a lot of juice coming out with those pips. You know what I mean? Ah, dear. I just made my Custodes Heresy army. Don't speak that heresy. What are we talking about? Custodes are not to be mixed. No. Custodes should have been in Imperial Agents. Maybe. There is an argument for that. I mean, there's some clear intent in Games Workshop to expand certain ranges bit by bit. And Custodes, Votan, World Eaters immediately spring to mind. They're very thin codexes that could, out of all of them, Votan is quite full. But those ranges need a bit more meat on their bones. But Custodes is a codex where are the Custodes tanks? Where are their grav tanks? Where are we've got some bikes in there and a Land Raider. Come on now. There is a lot more custodian kit. And I think it's just supply issues. They're building that new factory. Maybe some point in 2040, when that new factory's up and running, we're going to get a lot more of the models. They can't keep up with the demand, can they? They can't. They'll make a bajillion of one thing, sell half of them, and then they sit on the shelves forever. And then only half as much of the stuff that we really want, and then they sell out, and then you can't get them for 6 months, and then they appear on the interwebs for a couple of days, and the Discord lights up. We're like, can you finally got the apothecaries? You got the things, and then everyone buys them, and they're gone in 24 hours, 48 hours. That's what happens right now. They can't keep up. With Old World and Heresy as well, there's an explosion in the firework factory, and it's sparks all over the place. It's brutal in there. No Red Butchers. I know, right? In the World Eaters book, where are the Khorne Berserkers on Juggernauts? Not just one dude, but where is the fast attack choice they need to be on Juggernauts. There's a whole thing, and then Red Butchers. They need to have Red Butchers in there, ravening madmen in there. 2 things, just 2 new boxes of stuff in that World Eaters book and a Khorne demon engine of some kind, like they used to have in Forge World. Marius, thank you for your donation. Thank you. I just want to run Guilliman with Colloquan. Colloquan? I'm not getting the reference, Marius. I'm sorry. I'm not getting the reference. No idea what Games Workshop is doing. Says J. Cough 2. Neither does Games Workshop. Games Workshop have no idea what they're doing. We have no idea what they're doing. You have no idea what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. There's people who work in the studios and painting and on the shop floor who are really nice people and really like the hobby. Then there's people in suits who have no idea about the IP and about the hobby space. Because, I think they're aliens. I think they're probably from the Eye of Terror. And they've got some tentacles. And some of them smell a bit. Or some of them are really angry with nasty, sharp, pointy teeth. Or some of them really like some change. And they're here to sow chaos and confusion. And it's working. Tom York. What? Moldova Colloquan, the Tribune Custodes that hangs out with Guilliman in Dominator's fleet. Oh, in the Dawn of Fire series. Yes. Okay. That's an obscure reference. Yes. Great. Cool. Yes. Where were we? Who's excited for the Imperial Agents? Anyone excited for Imperial Agents other than me? I'm rather excited for it. Sultan's frothing for it. I want to get it'd be nice just to work on a small detachment, inquisitorial detachment with some Grey Knights that I can plug and paste into a 13th list or into a AdMech list. And I guess into a Custodes list as well. It might help because Custodes aren't doing very well at the moment. Plug into them, but I don't feel like the Inquisition and the Custodes will work well with each other. It doesn't. Something in my narrative brain is like, I mean, the only time when a Custodian and an Inquisitor meet is probably because the Custodian is beheading the Inquisitor. Avocados. He's in Watches of the Throne too. Is he? Nice. Okay, it's been a while since I read Watches of the Throne. I did shout that out in my top 3 book series that you need. I mean, the Watches of the Throne 1 and 2, very good. Like it. Very good. It'd be cool if Primarchs could mix again. I want the Lion running around with my Dante. That would be good. I know there are some Battle Force boxes, but have they shown off a combat patrol for agents? I don't think they've shown off a combat patrol yet from what I've seen. I've been keeping a close eye on it. And there's the combat patrol, the Battle Force boxes, one for Hereticus, one for Malleus, and one for Xenos, right? One for each of the inquisitorial primary arms. The Inquisition is not just made of 3 primary arms, but there are 3 big ones. But there's dozens of different types of Inquisitors out there. But they're the 3 main dudes. But I don't think there's a combat patrol for it. No. Yeah, Custodes like to an Inquisitor. Yeah, exactly, RTRT. A Custodian would be like, I'm a Custodes. I do what I want. What do you mean bringing on Imperial law down on your Inquisitorial law on me? Screw you, buddy. I'm going home. I want to run a really good list with lots of different things like demon hosts and a few great knights, assassins. Dude, Frank, it's preaching to the choir, dude. Imagine it. I hope they've got demon hosts in it. I hope they've got a few Crusader Knights in it, the old shield and sword guys running around. That would be cool. And then a good warband that you can... we'll see. We'll see what they do. I mean, I know Arbites are in it, and I know Navy Armsmen are in it as well, because they've leaked that. I'm super curious if they'll remove that Cassius Deathwatch team. So I think, look, so the book, they've said that there's going to be 4 detachments, one based around the Inquisitorial Xenos, one around Malleus, one around, what is it? My brain again, Xenos, Malleus, Hereticus, something like that. The demon, the witch, and the alien. So each detachment, 3 of the detachments are based on that, and one is based on a Navy thing. So Kill Team Cassius, it's like come and went, I think. That's the thing that's come and went. Like the 8 for the Tau. Lots of sad Tau players out there. Yeah, I love lore and I buy lore too. What would I want in an agent's combat patrol? Well, an Inquisitor. So I'd like a Inquisitor would be nice, and some like Harlan Nail character and Keys character, some badass bodyguards to hang out who are beef in their own right. There needs to be, and then some weird stuff like the Inquisitor. It'd be great to have some pets. There's not enough robo doggies in space. Cotiaz, he's got his eagle. We need more robo doggies, robo penguins, robo donkeys, a menagerie of beasts around the Inquisitor with nasty sharp pointy teeth like beasts. That would be cool in the box. What would also be cool in the box with the Inquisitorial thing? A big chonking robot that is actually a man of iron but pretending to be a robot, just like out of Blackstone Fortress. Only a better model than the one at Blackstone Fortress, because the one at Blackstone Fortress, it looks a bit meh. You need a scary killbot like the one in Robocop, you know, that one, Ed 2000 or whatever it is. You have 15 seconds to comply, and it growls like something like that. Walking around, pet space, Inquisitor, some kick-ass people, some pets, and a chonking robot. Stick that in a combat patrol box, and I'd buy that for $1. Demon, alien, mutant, heretic. Yes, it's the heretic, alien. No, it's the demon, it's the alien, and the heretic. Why are orangutans on the way out? We want some Jokero. Dude, we want some Jokero. Jago Sevatar would be good. Sir Killer Lot from Robot Wars. Monkey. Exactly. Chonky Robot of Doom. Sir Killer Lot from Robot Wars. Scaled up with some rocket launcher on his back. He's got the spear in his eyes. Laser beams for frickin' eyes behind an Inquisitor. Inquisitor like that big. Sir Killer Lot like that big. Like grrr, across the... It would look so cool. It would look so cool. I actually like that Grey Knights are combined. It makes them feel unique, rare, unique when you do see them. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Grey Knights need to still, yeah, that's why I find it, I can't just pick up Grey Knights and play them because I haven't gone up against demons yet in this edition. I just can't. And with you, Winters, what did I say? Was it about Sir Kill-A-Lot? And that wasn't my idea, that was the chat's idea. Creed. I'd like Creed to come back. Creed's dead. Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. How can we do the Barrel of Monkeys list? You can't. Yeah, do you remember? I went to a tournament in 6th edition at one of the Throne of Skulls event at Games Workshop. And the dude's list, one of the guys I went up against he brought a Fortress of Redemption because that had points and hull values and you could bring it as a model. He had that. And it was the Grey Knights Codex. And he had as many Jokeros as he could get away with inside their Inquisition teams. And he filled them up. And it was full of them with the Knights and Jokeros. So he'd tank it on the Knights. And he plonked down the Fortress of Redemption. So you go into a tournament, you're like, hi, how you doing? Hi, what are you bringing? Oh, I've got a White Scars biker list. Oh, great, let's have a look. Yeah, my White Scars biker list. The idea is I hold it all in reserve. It'll only come on in turn 2 and turn 3, depending on the dice roll. It'll be nothing, null deployment in turn 1. You didn't lose the game back then. If you had nothing on the table in turn 1, you had nothing on the table in turn 1 because 100% of my army was in reserve. It was an outflanking Corazzo Khan White Scars list. Genius. What have you got? I've brought this. He put down a Fortress of Redemption, loaded Inquisitorial Agents and Space Monkeys all over it with las cannons from their hands. Then he had some basic infantry in front of that as sponge, and then he had a Storm Eagle gunship, and inside that was the Inquisitor with a close combat warband, and half of the guys had swords and shields, and the other half of the guys was the Electro Leech slave ones, which had and he gave them rag grenades and stasis grenades. So that would fly in, they would get out, and they would go flying into a unit of White Scars in this occasion, and I'd be stasis grenaded, so I was at initiative 0, and my toughness would be down, and then humans would just chew through entire squads of the White Scars who could not embark onto the Fortress of Redemption to assault the people on the top of the Fortress of Redemption because bikes couldn't go on fortifications, so just had to shoot them with bolt guns. There was loads of guys with shields getting last cannon. Fun times. That was a list. So yeah, I do miss the Jokeros. Lovely little space monkeys. The famous Kroot death line. Death line. Where are we? Mine was Rogue Trader, then 2nd edition. Then everyone, because it's what you do, suppose will go. Yeah. There's a lot of ex-military and military people with lots of disposable income that are hard on the 40k. Yeah. Kroot conga lines were a thing. Kroot, you'd have Necron scarab lines, so which would go all the way across and tail back to a spider somewhere, because then the spider could put some more back in. Oh dear. Yeah, basically, the Warhammer 40k community has been abusing the game since 1986. It's just if there's a rule that could be abused, it's been abused and used. And yeah, but you know, I think it's probably better if we it's probably better if you just, because the rules come and go, codexes come and go, editions come and go, things like Imperial Agents and add-ons come and go. I think it's better if you find a faction or two. You need two, actually. Find two factions that you love and just build up your collection over time. And the reason why you need two is because when one of them's absolutely dogshite terrible, the other one's probably pretty good. It's unlikely that both of your factions are dogshite terrible at the same time. So just build up your collection and then play one of them when the other one's dogshite terrible. And if both of them are okay, then you can play both of them. And you love of the hobby, you love of the toys, you love of the things. You love of the things. That sounded quite... You love of the things. Is that Italian? I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the better way to go. And then you're in the hobby. If you're chasing the dragon all the time, chasing the leprechaun, chasing the rainbow, if you go, it gets exhausting after a while. If you want to be in the hobby for a long term, don't worry about the chase. Find your narrative bunny, find your collection, build it, paint it, listen to audiobooks, listen to stuff on the YouTubes, play the odd game here every now and then, and make up funny scenarios like you go through a dark tower and get sucked off the battle grid. Yeah. Anyway, so Imperial Agents is looking good. I hope you guys are excited for Imperial Agents as well. It's an interesting turn of events. It's series of very fortunate events. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. I hope this heralds a bit of. I want them to release a Maelstrom of War deck. I want them to release an open card deck. I hope this heralds a bit of like the narrative heartbeat is beating a little bit in Games Workshop. I'm hoping this jolts forth another little narrative, another little, instead of all the tournament things all the time. You know what I mean? Like Blood Buffalo, working on my Heresy, Scars, Army, Jagatai. Yeah, see, building up a whole thing, building up a faction rather than chasing a list. Corax, you want your Blood Angels upgrades. I mean, I think we've been waiting for Blood Angels upgrades since 1986. But yeah, it'd be nice to get some Blood Angels upgrades and the Blood Angels Codex whenever that's coming. You know, like they released Space Hulk, but they didn't release Space Hulk. There's that Tyranid attack game, which is coming out in America, which is Space Marines versus Tyranids, and it isn't. You know, what's going on there? Hopefully. And now we're going to get a bit more. Blood Buffalo, thank you for your donation. You are a generous puppy. Thank you, sir. GG's to you. Thank you for your donation again and again and again. Because I dropped a list in progress, I should pay. Because I dropped a list in progress, I should pay. No idea what that means, but thank you for your donation. Marius Gage, I've heard you mention Maelstrom of War. What is it? Before or after my time? So it's a card game like Pariah Nexus Leviathan, right? But there are no primaries. Everything is a secondary. You still put some objectives down on the table, but you're not trying to score primaries and secondaries. You're just trying to score your secondaries. And you might draw a card and it might say, take objective 1. And it's like, I can get that. It's over there. But sometimes objective 1 might be over there and you're like, I can't get that. So half of the time you were drawing some cards, you just couldn't score half of them. And it frustrated the tournament crowd very much. But that's the point. It's the swinginess. Sometimes you would have a turn or two where you couldn't achieve some of your secondaries, and then it would swing back round, and in turn 3, 4, 5 you could score, and your opponent had the same thing, and it was 3 cards. You drew 3 cards. It's like, I have that order, like assassinate. It's very similar to what we have now. Had to assassinate a thing, had to kill a vehicle, and I had to defend objective 3. Or I have to, the most common ones were defend an objective or storm an objective. And there were some like, if you hold 2 objectives, you get extra points, you know. And that's what Maelstrom was. So you didn't have to worry about the primary. It's like getting on that one and holding that one down and da-da-da. It was more random. We like dice rolls. We like randomness. And the randomness meant sometimes you could play so here's the bad thing about it. Sometimes you could play a really good game and still lose. And that kind of sucked. But here's the good thing about it. There were many times you could bring an average list against a great list and still beat the great list. Not many times, but there was sometimes. And now in 40k, if you play Leviathan and Pariah, and there's a strong list versus an average list, 99 times out of 100, that strong list is winning because it's going to score on primaries and secondaries, score on primaries, secondaries, score on primaries. It's going to outscore you because that's how the mission pack is designed, and it's a great list. And the average list is going to score. It's hard to get there, but Maelstrom, because there were no primaries and it relied on that RNG element, there were occasions where, okay, I could pull this out of the bag here. I could actually move block off that one, zip over there, dump on that one. So that it opened up a more random. It also encourages, another good thing about it, it also encouraged people to bring a more-ish, balanced-ish, not 100%. If you just spammed a thing, it would hurt you more. If you spam three of these, it would hurt you more than bring in, okay, I'm going to need some fast stuff. I'm going to need some deep strike stuff. I'm going to need some battle line stuff. I'm going to need... It toned down the excessiveness of certain lists a bit. Just a bit, not much, a bit, because of the RNG element. So, and another thing I liked about it was it told a story. It really opened up narrative ways of playing, because all of a sudden the orders came through from high command. You had to do this and you had to do that while trying to defeat your enemy. You had to do this and had to do it. And actually drawing a hand where you're like, I've drawn 3 cards and I can't actually do anything here. I can't storm that one. I can't defend that one. And you had, like, I can't do any of these. Drawing a hand like that is like confused comms. I can't achieve any of these comms. And it was quite liberating for a game turn. It's like, right, I don't have to, because if I, half the time when you achieved an objective, you got wiped out for achieving the objective because it was, you put yourself out of position. But if you drew 3 cards and you couldn't do anything, it's like, right, okay, I'll spend this turn just killing my opponent. And bam. And it was a RNG randomy way of playing things. I think it was one of the best ways of playing Warhammer 40k, in my opinion. And I played many different ways and many different versions of Warhammer 40k. But I did like the RNG element of it. I did like the way it kind of told a story. I did like the way it kind of toned down some of the excesses. And I did kind of like the way it pissed off the tournament crowd a little bit. What the tournament crowd did was they would play primaries and secondaries anyway. What the tournament people did in 7th edition and 8th edition is they would play with the Maelstrom of War deck for secondaries, and they would use the primaries in the main rulebook as well, like the normal ways of playing in the main rulebook, the big 6. So you could either play that way. This is how most of us played. You either played the ones from the main rulebook, attack and defend missions, or big guns never tire, or the relic, or those things. We played those ones, or we played Maelstrom. What the tournament crowd did is they played both at the same time. And then Games Workshop hired all the people who did all the tournaments and bought the ITC format and and now we've got that as a standard way of playing. We play tournament play as a basic way of playing. Imagine this. Imagine if you went to pick up a game of Call of Duty and the only game types in it were SND, domination, or you went into Warzone and then there was the restrictions with no flares, no this, no that. The way they play the comps in the World Series was the way you play Call of Duty. Imagine if you go and wanted to play Magic the Gathering, and with all the pack restrictions they have for the tournament scene, imagine if that was the only way you could play that game rather than... Imagine if you went down your local football field to play some football, 5 around, kick around on a Sunday, have some fun. And they said, no, you're not allowed to play 5 around, kick around. You have to have 11 people and a VAR overview because that's how they play in the tournaments. Every single game that I can think of, with some exceptions like chess and Scrabble and stuff, but most games that I can think of have a fun, open way of playing. 5 round, kick around. And then a restriction, a tighter way of playing for the tournament scene. Computer games, card games, real games. With the exception of 40k right now, 40k tournament play is the main and only way to play according to Games Workshop. What the hell is that all about? That's why I scream about it, and that's why I miss Maelstrom of War, and that's why I miss open play, and that's why we go back to what someone said about half hour ago is I have no idea what Games Workshop are thinking. When you have a game like football, 5 around side kick around should be fine. Playing Monopoly for fun should be fine. Playing Call of Duty single player campaign should be fine. You don't have to just play the tournament thing in Dota with all the restrictions turned off should be fine. You should be able to play a game for fun. And Games Workshop 40k, you should be able to play a game for fun. And then there's a different way, and then there's a tournament way of playing for the tournament things, and that's how it should go, in my humble opinion. I mean, they'd gone full tournament. They're going full tournament in AOS right now. That another article came out on Warcom News a couple of days ago, which was casual match play. They're trying to tone down. Like, some AOS people are like, oh my God, they're going full 40k with all the things. And where's the fun gone? So they literally released an article saying, well, you can play casual match play. They don't want to say tournament play. There should be match play and tournament play. You don't have to say match play and casual match play. And they're so afraid to mention that the whole way they're setting up the system right now was for tournament and tour. You need multiple, for years, multiple ways to play. Open play, narrative play, match play. Years before that, multiple ways to play. On this channel, multiple ways of playing. Going to a dark tower, getting sucked off the battle grid. Multiple ways of playing. And you at home, play 40k your way with your house rules. Whatever house rules you want to bring into place for your characters, for your armies, for your things. Whatever narrative missions you want to bring in or custom missions you want to play 40k your way. But Games Workshop are not getting the memo. Anyway, do you remember the old Battle for Macragge box? I did. It was lovely with the downship. Got it next door. Lovely. Nowadays, everyone is about meta and try hard. Yes, they are. I don't think everyone is meta, says Blood Buffalo. GT worldwide numbers are compared to actual sales. Yeah, no. So, yeah, that's true. Everyone is not about meta and try hard. The loudest voices in the room are meta and try hard. But the loudest voices in the room are also the minority voices in the room. Most people in the hobby collect, play, paint, casual. Most. It's even more bizarre. Warhammer stores don't pander to compare. Yeah, Warhammer stores don't compare to just Timmy's. Luton's in the chat. Hi, Luton. See, I knew me and Winters would be the only ones who like the sound of Agents. I love the sound of Agents. Dude, Agents sounds so cool. I hope you heard my rants earlier on, Luton. Flight of the Eisenstein over my shoulder. Nice. Dude, this is all... Yes. Yes, that is Flight of the Eisenstein. Yes. I don't know why they've chosen that particular picture in particular, because it doesn't really, apart from the Nurgle thing, but there's Imperial Fists. I don't know why Imperial Fists and then the flight, but there's a bit at the end, I guess. But yeah, lovely. Luton, I really think I need a vid or some kind of roundtable chat about this whole topic soon. Yeah, man. Yeah, Imperial Agents is a great idea. They should have Imperial Agents as an associated book that you can add to. Here's a faction that you can play on its own or add bits to your Guard or to your Space Marines or to your AdMech. That's perfect. They should have a book like that for the Eldar as well. They should have a book which is like Agents of the Eldar. I don't care what you call it. And in it, stick the Harlequins in that book. You have your Dark Eldar book, you have your Craftwell book. And then stick your Harlequins in the Eldar Agents book, whatever you want to call it, and put Eldar Corsairs in it as well, and put Eldar Exodites in it as well, and have this as sort of like a book which you can add. You can bring them as their own individual factions, or you can add to your other forces here or there. They should have that. It's a good way that they could introduce the Dark Mechanicum to Warhammer 40k as well. These extra chunky books, which you may or may not want to buy, because you still have your faction, you can still focus on your faction, but the narrative opportunities and modeling opportunities it opens up, having one or two, just a couple of books, which it's a no-brainer to me. I've been shouting about it for years. There should be a book called Mercenaries, Codex Mercenaries, and in it you can have the Kroot, in it you can have the Locks of Cattle, in it you could have the Harud, and in it you could have space zombies from Mars, whatever. But a Mercenaries book, Codex Mercenaries, and follow the Imperial Agents way of doing it, which is you can take a detachment from that and add it to this force, this force, this force, this force, this force, with some restrictions, like you can't add this to Tyranids. Fine. You can add Genestealer cults and Tyranids together, though, can't you? Can't you? You should. If you can't, you should. You can add demons. You can add a 25% demon force to any of the Chaos forces. Chaos have got that add-on book. It's called Demons. Now we've got Imperial Agents for the Imperial forces. Good. Give something else to the things. Eldar agents could include Harlequin, Corsairs, Ynnari, and Exodites. Boom. There we go. Imagine that. Eldar agents. You can have your full Harlequin stuff in it. You can expand the Ynnari range and have rules for Ynnari and a couple of Ynnari sculpts in there. Like, I want to see Wraith Knights and Wraith Guard and Wraith Blades, because they've come alive, right? The Soul Stones shatter and they're actually living. And surely, because they're Wraithbone is psychoactive, so surely they've grown and changed and moved and they're fast. Some kind of wraithy constructs for the Ynnari would be epic. Some new sprues for them. You know what I mean? And then Exodites, let's have Eldar riding space dragons in space dragons in space with Eldar on them. Fantastic. Should do that. Luton is thinking things. He can't stop thinking things, Tom York. He can't. He keeps thinking them and thinking them and thinking them, and sometimes writes a video about them, and we all get to delve inside his mind for about 45 minutes to an hour and a half, and it's lovely dipping around in Luton's mind. It's a dark and dank and dungy, lovely place of grim darkness, and his ideas, and he goes off topic. He'll say, I'm talking about the chainsword, and then he'll spend 10 minutes talking about oranges and penguins, and then he said, sorry for that diversion, let's go back to the chainsword. Meanwhile, we all like the oranges and penguins discussion. Blood Buffalo, do you think we'll ever get Thunder Warriors minis? Blood Buffalo, thank you for your donation again. I bloody hope so. Like in the Horus Heresy, what they should do, you know, we're getting like the expansion books for this sector, this sector, this sector. Horus Heresy, they should do a Great Crusade book, so you can and they should do a pre-heresy. See, the Thunder Warriors minis is a good question as well, because in my top 3 models Games Workshop needs to make video, I said, look, we can have miniatures without rules, because most people collect and paint first. Let's have some why there isn't an Emperor of Mankind model from Games Workshop is it just blows my mind. Like, new people come into the hobby. I've spoken to so many people over the decades, like, where can I get my Emperors of Mankind model from? It's like, it doesn't exist. Why not? Even that one on the chair. You know, they could so Thunder Warriors minis, they should make them. You saw people being like, Deathwatch are dead, I'm done. And it's like, no. See, the thing is, Luton, I heard the kerfuffle on the internet and in the Reddits, like, Deathwatch are over, I'm done. Yeah. But the people I know in person who play Deathwatch, and the messages that I got personally from people who play Death, everyone who I've spoken to, like, in the face, who plays Deathwatch, loves the idea of Inquisitorial Agents. Sultan is frothing. Grey Knight SEO, he's frothing. A couple other people in the chat DM me directly, frothing with excitement. I can't see, if you're a Deathwatch player, how... I mean, the Deathwatch are the Inquisition, right? They're their bully boys, in the same way that the Minotaurs are like the bitches of the High Lords of Terror, their own personal attack dogs. Let's see how you couldn't like it. Where are the law glasses? Somewhere. Remember when Iron Warriors got shafted and everyone was throwing their armies on eBay? This is all part of... Yeah, I mean, Luton, one of the things that brings us together is hating on Games Workshop. Every change is the end of the world. We all hate Games Workshop. We love 40k. We hate Games Workshop. It's, if you don't hate Games Workshop, are you really Warhammering? Probably not. When I don't know where you can get your Emperor. You can't get an Emperor of Mankind mini, a British person. You can't. What's next? No kit of the 4,000. You can't get 4,000 Warhammers either. You can't get an Emperor of Mankind. You can't get Malkador this. Why? I don't get it. That should be in the case, in front, in every Games Workshop store ever. That there's, and then again, it'll be like, are you really Warhammers if you haven't got the Emperor of Mankind model? I mean, if you're a Chaos person, you might get the Emperor of Mankind model and do some horrible conversions on him and turn him to Chaos. And if you're a Xenos player, you might get an Emperor of Mankind model and film yourself melting him with a blowtorch and put it on the TikToks. You might do things like that. But are you really Warhammers if you don't have the Emperor's model? Yeah, probably not. So I know you can get third-party ones. I've seen many awesome third-party and 3D printed Emperor of Mankind models. The fact that there is a market for it, and the fact that you can get a lot of different ones. I mean, Den of Imagination do one on the Patreon. So Den of Imagination Painting Studios. If you're a 3D printer person, or if you've got STLs and the 3D, I don't know how it all works, but Den of Imagination have got a Patreon which you can sign up for, and it gets you access to all of their 3D stuff and all that, and they're constantly bringing out new models every single month. There's like 12. Last time I was there was about 12 people in their in their design studio just designing models. I think there's probably more than that now, because that was like 2 or 3 years ago. And they're constantly churning out new. So if you're a 3D person, sign up on their Patreon, and then you can get new files. And they do an Emperor one. Or they can't call it the Emperor, but they do. There's loads of them out there. Look at what you're saying. Also, anyone being like, this Codex is a terrible idea, add a mixed Inquisition force with an alternative Grey Mask. No, yes. You had a mixed Inquisition force waiting to go. That's what I mean. I don't know if you saw earlier in the video, but we were talking about the Demon Hunters, Witch Hunters codexes. That's how it was back in the day. The Grey Knights didn't have their standalone codex until halfway through 6th edition, or the beginning of 6th edition. That's when they got their first standalone codex. Beginning of 6th edition. It was like 6 months in. I remember, because of the SEOs, you got Alex SEO, Phoenix SEO, Grey Knight SEO. Guess what Grey Knight SEO collected? And he had left the hobby, and he was like, I'm not coming back into this hobby ever until Grey Knights get their own standalone codex. And then boom, because we were doing tournaments in 5th, and then boom, 6th edition, he's like, damn it. And he came back into the hobby, and he had the mixed inquisitorial forces. That's how it was back in the day. That's how Deathwatch was back in the day. And then they got their own books, and they should have their own books too. Grey Knights in particular, because the range is quite broad. Deathwatch not now, because their range isn't broad. But Deathwatch, I mean, they're not really an army in the same way that Grey Knights are an army, are they? They're, yeah. GW could give them a free gold bar. Yes, haters are going to hate, man. Haters are going to hate. I think the Imperial Agents is a great addition to the lore. It's a great addition to the hobby space. I think it opens up many different modeling opportunities, many different playing opportunities. And I look forward to them expanding on it when the next Codex comes out in 3, 4, 5 years. I look forward to them doing a similar thing with Eldar. I wish they would do a similar thing with Eldar. I think there is gold in them, their hills. And I think those boxes are going to sell out. Or they're going to sell a lot of them. Not sure if they sell out, but they get... The Grey Knights one and the Deathwatch one are going to sell quite a lot. Are Grey Knights getting new models, though? There was a bit at the bottom of the Warhammer community post. Grey Knights are coming out in their own individual codex next year when they'll poke their heads over the horizon with their shiny new models. Didn't it say something like that? There was a hint of a suggestion that we're going to get some new Grey Knight stuff next year, which is also terribly exciting. How long have I been banging on for? A good hour and a half this evening, and it's getting hot in here with all this electronics in. So we will be closing up. This is your 2 minutes warning, ladies and gentlemen. Your 2 minutes warning. Thank you, everyone, for swinging by this evening. Thank you for all the donations and the chats and the things. I love it. If you'd like to support me, the greatest Warhammer 40Kers on the planet, me, the 2021 No Retreat Legend of Legends champion, me, the Lore Master, second in command after Luton, me. And overall, nice guy. Then click the like button, click the share button, click the notification button, and most importantly, become a member. Become a tier 3 channel member, and you get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. You can become a patron as well. Tomorrow, for the Winter's Wednesday video, for the tier 3 channel members, we're getting sweaty. It's Necrons versus Eldar, and I bring a sweaty list. I hadn't played sweaty list for a while. I bring a sweaty list. A couple of the videos that I talked about in other live streams being destroyed. One of them has been fixed. Thank you to Amon, who donated to get me Adobe Pro so I could fix it. I tried to fix it with Adobe Pro and I couldn't. And in the end, I gave it to Sultan and he fixed it. So that one's coming out tomorrow. It's one of the fixed ones and it's a really sweaty, really tight, two strong lists, Eldar and Necrons going at it. You'll notice that it's the fixed one because one, that resolution is up higher than it is normally, and two, it's a bit more zoomed in than normal as well. It's like crops it and pulls it and sharpens it. He did a sterling job. No idea how he did it, but shout out to Eamon for the donation. Stuart Fields from Australia land. The button was flashing again. Thank you for 8 months, dude. Appreciate you. That month went quickly. Morning, Captain Winters. It's not morning, Stuart, but it is where you are. Are the Keshik Terminators worth buying? They look cool but expensive. See, that's relative. People ask me, like, is that worth buying? Was that worth buying? Was that worth buying? I can't answer that question because I've seen some collections that some people have are redunculous because they've got lots of money. And then other people, not so much. So it's all about you and your personal circumstances. I don't know. Pussy. Blood Buffalo. Luton does so well, you get the money. Tell him thanks. You can tell Luton, thank you for your donation again, Blood Buffalo. You can tell Luton thanks. He's there. He's there. And that's it. In and out. Look. But thanks, Luton, from Blood Buffalo. See, Luton. He's good. What else? That really threw me off. That did. I was wrapping it up. I was going to bite yes. No door shall remain barred to him. No door. No door. I was going to wrap up as... Oh, yes. And at the weekend, there is a Horus Heresy one coming up this weekend. And it is one of the greatest games of 40k. Well, Heresy. It's one of the greatest war games that I've ever played. And it's another one that Sultan fixed after I screwed up and couldn't fix it with Adobe Pro. Eamon, if you're watching, I'm sorry I tried. So that one's coming up on Sunday as well. I had such good fun. And the Sunday one, I'm really interested to see what you guys think of it. So yeah, those are the next two videos. I need to do one about a table setup because people keep asking for that. I need to do the Iron Hands one, how I convert and paint my Iron Hands. I'm working on the Gorgon Terminators right now for the thing. So we're working on that. They're all beside me here. And Imperial Agents coming to a 40k channel near you. Thanks for swinging by this evening. You guys are lovely and happy wargaming.